Hello everyone, this is Scott from thedailyexpedition.com. Today we'll be reviewing Avira System Speedup. Avira System Speedup is something that not a lot of people have heard of because it comes from Avira, and while the antivirus is moderately popular, it's definitely not the most popular on the market. And you probably have not heard of Avira System Speedup because it's not a free product. I am using a trial license right now, and it truly is not. It doesn't look like it's new, unique, or special, but it's actually fairly simple to understand. You have quite a few optimization menus here. They're very cleanly organized, but for simplicity, let's go back and see if we can change any of our settings. Wipe junk files 5 times on deletion. We should enable the following. The reason that I have wipe junk files 5 times on deletion is typically if you're deleting junk files, they're typically items left from your browser, and when you continue to leave them on without overriding the space, if someone were to ever get on your computer, they could probably retrieve it. So I just figure we're going to go through the process real quick of the tools. Let me explain. We're going to start with the file recovery. File recovery will simply allow you to recover any files that you may have accidentally deleted, pictures, videos, cat GIFs, cat JPEGs, I mean, just that kind of stuff. It's definitely a good feature to have, but there's a lot of free programs that'll do this for you. The uninstaller is basically the default Windows uninstaller. It doesn't have anything really unique. Think of it as something out of CCleaner. It's basically the same user interface as well. The drivers, it allows you to get driver performance. Right there, view detailed driver performance information, see which versions you are running and how much RAM they're consuming, different software or hardware issues. This is more for debugging. If my computer's running abnormally slow, typically a good place to check is your drivers. Sometimes company release botched drivers updates, especially if you're using something like NVIDIA, where you'll continuously get that. Okay, I shouldn't say continuously, but you'll get it every once in a while where they have botched drivers, which they'll screw up your user interface to where your home page doesn't look right, or it's just a hassle at all. So this is a good way to understand. If you see large spikes in their size, or if you click on one and you just see that it's using an absurd amount of RAM, you're typically going to see a botched driver or one that wasn't installed properly. Or it's good for testing. The tuneup is just the toolbox section. You have quite a bit. The file or folder backup. It'll back up stuff, to restore your registry. Enable empty folder scanner. Typically you don't want to remove all your empty folders. While it would make sense for you to, there's a couple reasons not to. Programs will have typically they'll reinstate them. For instance, if I have a game or something that's writing to cache and the cache folder was empty, it may recreate the empty folder and put something in there. But most of the time you don't want to delete these. Typically if you want to delete an empty folder, you'll want to go through and do it by hand. Advanced utilities, forced copy a locked written file. Sometimes files are locked by Windows for the security of your system, and therefore it's quite common that you will have to use this. If you've ever used a tool such as Unlocker, which forces Windows to override its default system to allow it to be deleted, that's when you'll come in handy. Typically, if programs don't uninstall properly, you'll use tools like Unlocker. This is just the exact opposite. As opposed to deleting it, it makes a copy of it. Super utilities are just more stuff. Disk Wiper will completely erase any lingering data. It'll wipe all the white space. File Shredder will allow you to shred files several times over. Repair network, fix damaged network connection. Typically, if your network, even if you have random network issues where you had like a really strong connection, typically you can see it from malware or a botched driver or something else. This will run a basic scan to see what could potentially be wrong. The disk defragment, as we all know, it will compress all the items on your disk to where they're closer, and it can help reorganize them so it'll load faster. Services Manager, this will allow you to control which services are on auto startup for your computer. You don't want every single service to auto start. That's just for, this is typically for more experienced tech users. If you're not, then I don't recommend fiddling with it. Process Manager allows you to analyze what processes are running, their trees, and allows you to get a good way to gauge what's using memory. For instance, my Windows items are using 1% of my CPU and 18.5 megabytes of RAM. Programs that are using larger amounts of RAM, such as Explorer, will pop up with red CPU usage, meaning that they're using too much RAM for what they should be. And they should probably be looked at, or it's recommended to disable them. Of course, any default Windows service should not be disabled or ended the process, as it can cause display issues, and then you'll have to restart your computer. Network Manager allows you to see what programs are running and connecting to the internet. If you have something that's draining your internet consistently and in large amounts, this is a good way to see it. Typically, if you go in your Task Manager, you'll be able to see your network. You'll be able to see if you launch Task Manager, you can go into your performance, and you can see your internet, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, something around that here. And if you see your network spiking by large amounts, or it's continuously high, even when you're not doing something, you'll be able to see through here what programs are using it. If it's still not visible, then you may have another issue on your hand. Typically it's malware, something that's using a lot of requests, maybe Bitcoin mining, something like that. Startup Manager will allow you to check for all the auto run items and auto startup items. It's nothing really special. Don't go fiddling with it too much, but you can disable programs. The Smart Defragmentation will analyze the files and place files in the correct location. This is basically just the optimization that you got with any of the other ones. I always recommend never skipping large files. Typically, large files should always be moved, especially if they're out of place, as that can really improve the speed of your PC. It's going to go through and it's going to scan, and it's going to tell me how many fragments there are. But for now, we're just going to check out some of the other features. As you can see, it's found some fragmented files, probably quite a bit. Privacy Cleaner allows you to find a bunch of browser stuff that you no longer want to keep, or basic items for Windows, such as the clipboard, and startup menu and stuff like that. The registry will allow you to find, it'll allow you to delete for registry items. Keep in mind though, while you're doing this, you will not be able to, you shouldn't be doing this, but for some reason, I'm not able to scan. Maybe it's because it's not an activated license. Let's have this go. Whoops. I need it to, we're going to have it scan for registry items. Your registry can get bogged down. It's where Windows keys hold the system information and settings for apps and other stuff that's all been signed by programs. It's a good idea to use a registry cleaner. I've made a video on how to clean it out manually, which can be both a good and bad thing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't fiddle with it. This one right now is telling me anything related to advanced system care is no longer installed. A lot of items on here can be removed. In fact, in most of these should be removed. It would appear that this program's detected more registry items than any of the others that I found, which is good considering that it's a pay-to-use program, and it definitely beats out advanced system care. Installation, file extensions, 32 BMP, empty file extensions. See, it starts to get fishy when you see in these, you don't know where these, empty key entry. You sometimes don't want to do that. Whenever you're going to use a registry cleaner that has a that you're new to, always run through and check what it's deleting. especially with these. So I'm going to uncheck all of these ones. And I'm going to have it delete the software paths. No, thank you. I can't. Oh, no, you did. Thank you. Now it's deleted some registry items, which is really nice. Junk files is pretty much the same that you'll get with any other program. It'll scan for random junk on your computer, whether it's in your recycle bin, prefetch information. You'll even see it with websites. If you ever look on a website, you'll occasionally see prefetch DNS. What this means is when your browser will simply prefetch the information. This will be in this is most of the time in cache or temporary files, which will be deleted in Privacy Cleaner. But it's a good example. Prefetch just means that before the action is actually needed, you go and retrieve the data. So on a website, if I tell it to prefetch a DNS for Google and it says prefetch DNS google.com, it means that I'm requesting something from google.com. So it'll have the browser go to there and resolve the DNS before I actually need the file. The reason that this is done is to improve the load time, and it can solve sometimes above the fold issues where content is slowing it down because of extra DNS requests. If you have a lot of outside scripts, it's recommended to use DNS prefetching. However, if you're using an extreme amount or you place them in a poor location, then it will be a waste of time. DNS prefetching is recommended by Google as a standard web practice, but not all browsers support it. It's a good idea to use this software to definitely clean up your computer, but I don't see it justifying its price. My reason for this is it comes with a lot of tools that have clearly been mishmashed from all over the internet. And it does some things very well, like the registry cleaner. It definitely has a very strong registry cleaner. It cleaned up a lot of excess keys from the I would not say the useless, the extra software, the stuff that was remnants of what I used to have. So it did its job extremely well. I just don't see it justifying the price right now. And the user interface, while very clean and is easy to follow, it's very bland, and it also has a very Windows Vista feel to it. It feels like a Windows Vista, Windows 7. It's not completely. It doesn't have a flat user interface like you would expect, as we've seen with Bitdefender Total Security, as we've seen with Avast, as we've seen with a lot of programs that have adopted almost a tile interface. The flat interface is what we're looking at, like for instance in Baidu PC Faster. It just has a lot cleaner in that flat user interface. The circle icons, the clean, lots of icons as opposed to giant text links like this. Everything's under a tab as opposed to just being out in the open. It's definitely a nice program. It will get the job done. It has a lot of features to it that are definitely worth your time. However, I'm not sure that it's ready for you to pay for it. If you have any personal experience with the program, make sure you put them in the comments below. Give me your thoughts on it. Have you ever used the program? Has it really improved your performance over other tools such as Advanced System Care, Baidu PC Faster, or any other thing that would be on the list? So thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I hope you have a good day.